Morning, everyone. Um, Today I'm going to read from a book by a very fascinating figure in American literature. His name is John Dos Passos. The book is called The 42nd Parallel, and it's the first book in his trilogy called the U.S.A. trilogy. Dos Passos was the illegitimate son of a Portuguese lawyer who later married Dos Passos' mother. But he was had sort of a chaotic childhood, and he had sort of a chaotic life too. He was fascinated by communism for a while, and then eventually he completely dismissed that whole theory and ended up becoming extremely conservative. He supported Goldwater and Nixon, and which actually did some serious damage to his literary career. But before that, he wrote this trilogy that is considered by a lot of people one of the best examples of studying American culture ever written. And he used a very different technique for the narrative of these novels. He incorporated newspaper clippings, lyrics from songs. It's sort of stream of consciousness writing. But I was extremely blown away by all three of these books, and I'm still kind of confused and baffled by how come he's pretty widely forgotten at this point. He died, I think, in 1970, which was later than I expected that he would have. Anyway, to me, this is a beautiful piece of writing. These are the first two pages of the 42nd Parallel, the first book of his U.S.A. trilogy. The young man walks fast by himself through the crowd that thins into the night streets. Feet are tired from hours of walking, eyes greedy for warm curve of faces, answering flicker of eyes, the set of a head, the lift of a shoulder, the way hands spread and clench. Blood tingles with wants, mind is a beehive of hopes, buzzing and stinging. Muscles ache for the knowledge of jobs, for the road mender's pick and shovel work. The fisherman's knack with a hook while he hauls on the slithery net from the rail of the lurching trawler. The swing of the bridgeman's arm as he slings down the white-hot rivet. The engineer's slow grip wise on the throttle. The dirt farmer's use of his whole body when woeing the mules. He yanks the plow from the furrow. The young man walks by himself, searching through the crowd with greedy eyes, greedy ears, taught to hear by himself, alone. The streets are empty. People have packed into subways, climbed into streetcars and buses. In the stations, they've scampered for suburban trains. They've filtered into lodgings and tenements, gone up in elevators into apartment houses. In a show window, two sallow window dressers in their shirt sleeves are bringing out a dummy girl in a red evening dress. At a corner, welders in masks lean into sheets of blue flame, repairing a car track. A few drunk bums shamble along. A sad streetwalker fidgets under an arc light. From the river comes the deep, rumbling whistle of a steamboat leaving dock. A tug hoots far away. The young man walks by himself, fast but not fast enough, far but not far enough. Faces slide out of sight, talk trails into tattered scraps, footsteps tap fainter in alleys. He must catch the last subway, the streetcar, the bus, run up the gangplanks of all the steamboats, register at all the hotels, work in the cities, answer the want ads, learn the trades, take up the jobs, live in all the boarding houses, sleep in all the beds. One bed is not enough. One job is not enough. One life is not enough. At night, head swimming with wants, he walks by himself alone. No job, no woman, no house, no city. Only the ears busy to catch the speech are not alone. The ears are caught tight, linked tight by the tendrils of phrased words, the turn of a joke, the sing-song fade of a story, the gruff fall of a sentence. Linking tendrils of speech twine through the city blocks, spread over pavements, grow out along broad parked avenues, speed with the trucks leaving on their long night runs over roaring highways, whisper down sandy byroads past worn-out farms, joining up cities and filling stations, roundhouses, steamboats, planes groping along airways, words call out on mountain pastures, drift slow down rivers widening to the sea and the hushed beaches. It was not in the long walks through jostling crowds at night that he was less alone, or in the training camp at Allentown, or in the day on the docks at Seattle, or in the empty reek of Washington City hot boyhood summer nights, or in the meal on Market Street, or in the swim of the red rocks in San Diego, or in the bed full of fleas in New Orleans, or in the cold razor wind off the lake, or in the gray faces trembling in the grind of gears in the street under Michigan Avenue, or in the smokers of limited express trains, or walking along country, or riding up the dry mountain canyons, or the night without a sleeping bag among frozen bear tracks in the Yellowstone, or canoeing Sundays on the Quinnipiac. But in his mother's words telling about long ago, in his father's telling about when I was a boy, in the kidding stories of uncles, in the lies the kids told at school, the hired man's yarns, the tall tales the doughboys told after taps, it was the speech that clung to the ears, the link that tingled in the blood. U.S.A. U.S.A. is the slice of a continent. U.S.A. is a group of holding companies, some aggregations of trade unions, a set of laws bound in calf, a radio network, a chain of moving picture theaters, a column of stock quotations, rubbed out and written in by a Western Union boy on a blackboard, a public library full of old newspapers and dog-eared history books with protests scrawled in the margins in pencil. U.S.A. is the world's greatest river valley, fringed with mountains and hills. U.S.A. is a set of big-mouthed officials with too many bank accounts. U.S.A. is a lot of men buried in their uniforms in Arlington Cemetery. U.S.A. is the letters at the end of a dress when you are away from home. But mostly, U.S.A. is the speech of the people. How about that? Have a great day.